You seem so far away, and I just need to hear your voice. I just need to hear you say, if you would have me go or stay.
I saw your face, and I felt our souls embrace.
If it's not meant to be this way, why do you haunt me night and day? Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you.
I'm calling
Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower. Here in the tower.
Even now, in a place that's so lonely, there's a fire so strong. It feeds from my thoughts and it changes my words. It changes my vision, but it takes so long to get through. Bundle of nails, I shake when I'm talking. My trembling fingers find it all too much to bear. A bundle of nails is set for the taking. I need to start shaking. Listen and you'll hear the heartbeat of a universe teeming with force. See all the forms and the faces of nature taking its course. And feel all the wonderful motion flowing through things far and near. Nature will share her secrets when we are ready to hear. Energy, these are a few of your faces, glowing in timeless places, bringing our lives new graces. Energy, there is no living without you. We must keep learning about you. And now is the time to find how to. Energy, you are profound. You make the world go round and round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round.
Thank you, Energy. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I saw Grisman's going to do every N64 game. No, I'm not stomping. Look, I still have my N64 set up. If you missed it, Jeff Grubb wrote a retro review for Beetle Adventure Racing, which I know is supposed to be an N64 hidden gem. I never played it. It's actually at the my retro game store today. They had a copy for $20. I was like, all right, well, let's go. Let's do that. We'll do that tonight. I kind of want to play. I do want to kind of play Elden Ring again. What stopped me is that I don't have that game on Steam. It's full price right now, and I know that the summer sale's coming up. I don't expect that game to get a deep discount, but I feel a little silly buying it this week. I played that on Xbox, and I don't really feel like playing that game on Xbox. There's very few. If a game's on PC, I want to play it on PC, and not. I don't want to do capture card for a PS5 or an Xbox. I don't know. JT World Peace, thanks so much for 23 months. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. You're so close to your Mike McQuanchy badge. Hope you're doing well. Warren Quid, thank you for the stream streak. Dragar, thank you for 3 months. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Chris Fan, thank you for 2 months. What a day for Mikey's. What a day for Chris fans. Am I right? Data 6000, thank you so much for 16 months. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate it. All right, so yes. Beetle Adventure Racing. Never played this game. On my Shoot N64, same one I've used recently to play through GoldenEye and Donkey Kong 64. Been getting a lot of N64 use. The biscuits and gravy were fantastic. They were very good. Not really well. Turns out they're easy to make. Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring's pricey, especially since you have to, like... Gosh, it's blurry. Especially since I have to, you have to buy the expansion, right? Of course you do. I had to plug in my memory card thing instead of a rumble pack for this. Apparently. All dibs on Ringo. It's not those kind of Beatles, I think. I kind of missed the Volkswagen. They had a strange resurgence there in the 2000s. There they go. Hey, Marcus.
Adventure Racing.
You forgot the Beetle part.
Welcome.
What kind of options? Map, zoom. Alright, that looks good to me. There's a new electric van from Volkswagen. Interesting.
One player.
I guess I'm going to do the championship. So we start a novice. My name is Mike. I'm not putting Mitch in. I'm not doing that to myself. How are the stats so different between these cars? They look exactly the same. The red looks real even. I think I might start with the red. Let's just go with the red. Oh, I can change the colors once I... Okay, interesting. I kind of like this spice orange, not gonna lie.
Nice wheel.
Definitely automatic. I'm not trying to impress anyone. Oh, I can still use my Rumble Pack? Okay. Well, obviously, I want to do that. Alright. So would have done manual. Alright.
Welcome.
I have no idea what the controls are.
Go.
Record time is 6.5 minutes. How long is this track? I know this game is very focused on shortcuts.
3, 2, 1, go!
That wasn't right. Here we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, sorry. Seem to E brake with Z, I think. Yep. Whoa, whoa, okay. I should have gone that dirt path. The hell out of my way. Punch bug. Well, it's a pretty waterfall. It's crazy. Ugh. Oh gosh, am I doing this right? It's been a while since I played a racing game with this frame rate. Oh god, that's another shortcut probably. Ah! Well, I should have gone that tunnel. Get the hell out of my way. Okay, I'm in 4th. There. Okay, we're doing good. Being off the track doesn't seem to penalize you much. Oh, I'm really catching up now. What was in that box? Whoa. Whoa, it's nitrous. Let's go in this barn. That's got to be a thing we can do, right? Woo! Ah! I don't know if it helped. Oh, I don't know. I might regret. Oh, shit. Get back here. I don't know what bonus means down there. Oh, I should have gone to abandoned mine. That looks fun. Man, these laps are long. This Yoshi's Highway. Yeah, wow, this is an EA game, huh? This is EA's best game. Boy, what's the best game EA published ever? That's a good question. I mean, there's like, you know, there's Titanfall 2s in there. Star Wars games. What the hell? Get over here. I keep missing these shortcuts. Ah! Okay. No. Wait, oh, come on, that was your fault. Oh, you're blowing it for all of us now. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2000 Burnout 3. It's up there. I mean, the Mass Effects, don't forget.
Lap 2.
It's a new lap record! Nope, Grub says he likes this even more than Episode 1 Racer. I doubt I'll agree with that, but... Oh, man. Ah, gosh darn it. Missing these. Maybe H3 Volume 2. Sure, I don't know. SSX Tricky. Whoop. Nitrous. I do like that going in the grass does not seem to punish me. I'm not going in the barn this time. I missed it. Hey, you know, bugs could go up to 100 miles per hour. Drifting feels pretty good. Oh, come on. Yeah, I want to go in this thing. Well, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Oh, shit. Whoa. How almost missed that. I was going so fast. Oh, come on. The shortcut sucked. Falling behind. Come on. These straightaways I get killed a little bit on because my top speed is not the highest, but... Oh. I mean, I like Battlefield. I don't know if I put any of them as, like, the best EA game. Anybody played the new Battlefield still? Seemed like everyone really liked it at first. Then I didn't hear much people talk about it pretty quickly after that. Alright, final lap. There's like that side street over there that I'm afraid to try. Keep getting that tunnel. Miss the Kurtz, thank you so much for 4 months. I appreciate your peso bucks, pizza, whatever his name is. I don't care. Thank you. Hope you had a good one. Why is restart grayed out? I'm not allowed to restart. Game's in a good spot. Battlefield good. Okay, we're gonna try this barn again. It's gonna go great this time. Of course, it didn't help. I tried starting Planescape Torment on my Switch 2 last night. And it's like, yeah, this works. I don't know if this is how I should be playing this game. You have to bump up the text to like the max and the thing, and it's still pretty small. Restart probably only works on a single race, that makes sense. Especially for a game that has so much reading. Did the course change? I don't remember this dirt road. Get away from me. Dynamic courses? Finish. We did it. Colby Jam, thank you for following. Appreciate that. Hope you have a good weekend. Thank you. Is this game pretty much up on 4? Probably. Not a new record, but we'll take it. 628, that's got to be some weird car that they have, man. It is wild, the default text size for Planescape Torment on Switch. Like, what are they thinking? It is so small. And I almost never complain about that kind of thing. I assume I need to put my memory card back in. This is always fun. Great aspect of the N64.
You're still in the game. Welcome to Mount Mayhem.
I picked this game up at The Exchange, which is kind of a local chain of retro game stores and DVD stuff around here.
3, 2, 1, go!
I just go on go. Man, I still don't know when I'm supposed to push that button. It's a helicopter. Appropriate use of Nintendo 64 fog. Yeah, this drifting feels really good. I'm a big fan of a good game with drift. Obviously, as a Ridge Racer fan. See some shortcuts, but again, I'm afraid. I like you're not really penalized for going off the asphalt road. on, come on. Alright, what are these? Shit. Whoa, bridge? Oh, we're fine, we're fine. Yeah, these tracks are really nice. Doing some good stuff here. Okay. Oh, we got a big circle here. Got a hairpin turn. There's a tunnel up there. The shortcuts are kind of the point of this game. Ooh, this is pretty. Whoa. I like this. I like crystal caves. Doing good. Whoa. It's another cool cave. Crash Bandicoot crystals, exactly. Oh, big bonus. No! Come on, keep going. Get up. Okay. I don't think that's gonna cost me too much. Obviously not amazing, but we're still in first. And we are still on lap 1, by the way. This way. I want these bonuses do. Oh, whoa. Huge. Oh, this is huge with all the nitrous. That's a good shortcut.
Lap 2.
Oh, no. I mean, you can't restart for some reason, so... Oh, God. Oh, that's rough. Well, we caught up to everybody once before. Let's just do it again, I guess. I think the game has some rubber bandings. I think we might actually be able to. I might have to play a smidge safe. I don't know if there's a reset button. I couldn't even reverse there. Kind of stuck. Come on. I bet we can catch up. Damn it. Fuck you. So I have 2 laps. Oh, you piece of shit. Ah! Didn't even notice that at first. Oh my god. Vesicles are gonna kill me. I was like, please brake. I don't know if you're going to. Oh, thank God there's brake. Okay. I'm gonna play it safe. Look. Okay, that's fine. This will reset me at least. There's 100 points on each one. Oh no, not this again. Okay, it's fine. Oh man, I'm in 6th place. Come on. If I can get that one shortcut again, that was the big one. Okay, this is the big one. Did the nitrous not come back? Did pass up. 2 more cars.
It's the final lap.
Alright. Shit. It does control really well. Sometimes you're airborne, you're a little bit screwed, but this part. Okay, we're about to get first again. Hey, what problem? I was just letting everyone catch up. I was playing Mario Kart. That's what that was. Ow. I don't think I'm doing that shortcut again. That didn't really save any time. It's just a lot of bonuses. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I wonder how often the shortcuts are actually time saver than how much they get the bonus boxes. Is that tunnel up there? I don't know. I wonder how many tracks there are. I want to be shocked there's not necessarily a ton of them. A lot of N64 games, they didn't have a ton of them. And he's catching up to me. But boom. We're good. Look at that. Easy.
Place. Record.
Ice Woman is still the best. Grub's reviews on Wikipedia now. That's incredible. That makes me want to. Oh, it's just not safe.
You're still in the game.
I need to do a retro review at some point, just so I
Welcome
can become a
to
Wikipedia
Inferno
authority on it.
Isle.
All right, this one's medium. Oh, is this the Jurassic Park-esque one he talked about? Hell yeah. This looks great.
2, 1, go.
Yeah, just go on go, apparently. Oh yeah, these are good vibes. I mean, it looks like I'd probably just go straight through the water here. This does look like Jurassic Park Trespasser, doesn't it? Actually, I think that game is just called Trespasser, which is funny. Oh, yeah, here's the gates. Cool. Oh, yeah. Ah! Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. When I was at the retro game store, I did look for Perfect Dark and The World Is Not Enough, but they did not have them. So, someday, though. Okay, this game is feeling pretty good, I have to say. Big turn here. Yeah, the drifting feels good. Oh, wow, what's that shortcut? That's got to save a ton of time just to cut down these hills like that. I got to figure that out later. Oh, my eye itches. It's like a Disney ride. Kind of is. Yeah, you think they would have Perfect Dark, right? But no, they didn't have any copies of it. Sometimes it'd be like that. I was surprised they had this. Not that this is a Rare game. Literally, it's not made by Rare, it was Electronic Arts. But, you know, still, sometimes you just don't see things unless it's a heavy hitter. There's some that's just hard to find, even though they're not Rare games. Like, I've been looking for Battle for Naboo for a hot minute and haven't found that yet. Usually have every other Star Wars game. Xbox. Yeah, I mean, I want to play it on original hardware for whatever reason. I don't know. I just kind of think it's neat to do that. Oh, this level rules. This is kind of Monkey Island-esque now. Oh, yeah. I love when I go inside of a giant skull face. I think that's why I like Indiana Jones Adventures and Disneyland. Whoa. Okay, this is like one of the all-time great tracks in a racing game, isn't it? What else? I need to actually play through Rogue Squadron. Which I love Rogue Leader, and I've played through Rogue Leader on here recently. Oh my god, this is getting intense. Ah, damn it. Okay, just crash, it's fine. I don't know if I've ever actually played all the way through Rogue Leader Squadron. That's a game that does have a PC port. Treasure Planet, looking at it's right, it's true. It's on my tail here. That section was a little weird because the way it was angled was kind of hard to see if there was any road in front of you at times there. This is the hotel. Oh boy. It's fine. It's fine. Got still lap 1, by the way. Oh, that looked like a little shortcut there. Damn it. Now I know. Just, yeah, exactly. It's all style point. And lap 2. We did it. Can be done. Because that dinosaur. There he is. Jeez. I wonder if he can't hit you. Okay, somewhere here I could turn right. Yeah, right here. Get some stuff, I think. There we go. This is huge. This is an actual shortcut. Little awkward turn there, but we're good. Alright, let's try it. I have my doubts, but let's do it. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, we're good. That's good. Exciting stuff. Here comes the volcano section again. How do you get up there? Oh my god. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's a little hard to, like, even see the road in here. It's alright, we're good. Stay to the right of the wall. Yeah, last time I guess I was technically on a shortcut. Didn't feel that short. That bridge that almost killed me is going to come up at some point here. Here we go. Good enough. Good. Okay. Oh boy. That may not have been worth it. Well, whatever, we're fine. I wonder if in the harder difficulties, the other racers start taking the shortcuts, so you kind of have to worry about them a little bit more.
It's the final lap.
Yeah, God, he's showing up at different places. Fun. Ah, shit, I missed a shortcut. Going too fast, it's alright. Yeah, just go. Just forget about it, Mike. Oh boy, it's catching up. Almost missed that. You gotta really make sure you're going straight when you hit these ramps. That's a big shortcut. That helps. Fuck. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. We'll catch him. Yeah, you break, idiot. I don't know how to get up there still. No! Just crash, just crash, just crash, just crash. Let's go. Get back, get back. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There we go. That's not super fun. Oh, track changed right here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I feel like how the track changes a bit at the end. Oh, shit. Coordinating the village, yeah. Jeez, who's Dave K? Everyone's his dad. I don't have any continues. There's how many continues I used, I guess? I don't know. Alright, I must be leading in points in this thing. Yeah, look at that.
Congratulations!
I did it! It's 10. I'll do it again. There we go. The theme parks limit daily visitors. I mean,
now go for advance.
most of them have some kind of limit. They just don't usually reach it. Not that often. I mean, when Disney's World was doing the reservation system, most people seem to hate it, right? It's just a difficult balance. Well, let's try intermediate now. I wonder if there's any more. Is it just these end courses? Or going to be more courses? Let's see. Nope, it already had my name. Hey, babe. You're starting to fight about what happened. What I miss? I've been racing. Just listen to some of Game Messiah's. What do you mean that symbol for the Saints? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. I'm not from there. Did we unlock any more cars? That looks kind of new. It looks much nicer than some of the other ones. Oh yeah, we definitely have some nicer cars. I think we definitely want this purple stripe. Okay, what are our choices? This teal's kind of fetching. Oh, this like... That's good. There's all sorts of colors.
Nice wheel.
Right, exactly. They have long legs and they can self-lightning lanes.
Welcome to Coventry Cove.
Okay, so I think this was the first one. I think this was the first one, yeah. We should be in a faster one. The Saints definitely have one of the better logos, for sure. Look, it's much better than the Browns is. Curious to see how much harder this is going to be. Oh, shit. Oh. I should have hit that nitro box. Excuse me. Ah, come on, dude. Come on, dude. Okay, come on. We're fine. We're fine, I guess. I don't know. Go. Oh, we have no traction. Oh, okay. Oh. It's fine. Look, sometimes you do break through things. Oop. Alright. Well, we got a while. Ooh, got it. Come on. Thank you. Ah. I forgot about that mine. I mean, this game has rubber banding, but does kind of work both ways at least. Yeah, this game does take some concentration, but that's okay. We can fight all you want. We're not fighting. About the Saints? Come on. Oh. Babe, I guarantee you, your favorite football team is significantly better than mine in every way imaginable. Here we go. Now what? Okay. Alright, alright. We're doing alright. I feel about Bounty Gate. What's Bounty? Oh, that thing. Right. Now I remember. The football scandal. I barely remember what that was all about. I mean, I remember there were bounties. No, I don't want to do that again. Woo! Alright, we're in first again. We're not going in the barn again. Yeah, this car's definitely faster than the last one. I'm topping out like 112. Better remember the mine entrance is right after that turn. Yeah, he's catching up to me. He's like right on my tail. Yeah, see? Yeah. It's alright. It's alright. There's some nitro here? Yeah, that's gonna happen.
It's the final lap.
Yeah. There's a path there. I'm afraid of it. Oh, I'm gonna tap that thing, whatever it is. I'm not going in the fucking tunnel. Doing good? Alright. Ah, fuck. It does feel like when I go for the shortcuts, more often than not, I kind of pay for it. Well, let's see. We're getting it back. We're getting it back. We're fine. It's fine. Get the fuck over here. You guys got a bit more top speed than I do. This is where the track changes. Oh boy. I'm kind of not. Okay, here we go. We're catching up now. Going down. Okay. Keep it up. There we go. Phew. Not easy. It was a lot faster than the first time we did it.
You're still in the game.
I better still be in the game.
Welcome to Mount Mayhem.
Okay.
Get
This one has that
ready.
pretty important shortcut.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, the music's okay. Nothing crazy. Not like Ridge Racer music or something. I watched the Disney nature film Born in China last night. It was pretty good. There's like a cute baby panda in it. I think I might watch another one tonight. Been in a nature documentary mood. Shit. Yeah. Come on. It's on IMAX. I thought it was cute. Yeah, it was really good. There's some sad parts and good. I mean, they did a thing where they really build narratives around the animals, and some of it's kind of BS, you can tell, but it's neat. It's interesting. They definitely. Oh, here we go. They personify the animals quite a lot. Okay, come on. All right, it's fine. Everyone's a big pile up. Everyone got hurt on that one. That's fine. Yeah, let's try this again. And I have no idea if this shortcut helps, but. Oh shit. No, it doesn't help when I do that. I'm seeing Toy Story 5 tomorrow. It looks like I could go up there, huh? Almost fell off the bridge. Okay, that's fine. That part always almost gets me. I don't know if I need to slow down for that jump or what. I am not gaining back my ground yet. That tunnel over there. This one was good. Fine.
Last 2.
Oh boy. Man, I'm going pretty fast all of a sudden. So is he. You. Yeah. No. Yeah, I need to not hit these icicles this time. Idiot. Oh my god, are you kidding me, Green? Get the hell out of here. Almost caught up. Okay, we're gonna try going up. Oh. 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 Close! Yep, this is a shoot copy of the game. Alright, there was something over there. You kind of have to be a bit straighter. And it's Pride Month, so. Come on, come on. Okay. Nitros aren't here anymore, but I think it's still a shortcut. I don't know.
It's the final lap.
Alright. I might not be able to try that shortcut out again because it could go poorly. I blew it. Fine. Fine. What was that? What was that? Probably did me a favor by crashing into me. Reset me faster. Okay. We're doing good. This is good. This is good. Hell yeah. First place. Okay, just taking that turn a little not great, but it's fine. Fine. Oh boy. All right, nice. Sketchy, but we got first place again. That's Drew Brees reenacting his revenge. Revenge on... Oh, yeah, Drew Brees and his revenge on a Browns fan. We've wronged him so. Okay. I want to save. The Browns have had it too good for too long.
You're still in the game.
Needed to knock us down a few pegs. I get it.
Inferno
Alright.
Isle.
This was the last track last time. I imagine there's going to be one after this in this difficulty.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Thank you, Bucket. Appreciate it. This is a very cool track. Didn't I do a track in the last circuit where there was like a little town I went through? What happened to that one? Oh, here it is. Right, it's this one. I mean, I don't, boy, I had to like really brake to make that. I don't know if it's worth it. Ooh, sorry, buddy. Actually, wait, no, go to hell. We're racing. Okay, here comes the ramp. Good. Good. One for good luck. Very good. That's a big one. Yeah, this could have been like 4 different tracks. There's like some parts of some alternate paths. It just seems much safer to just stick to the right so I can actually see where I'm going. Ooh. Fine. 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 Okay. Good. It's good. It's good. Castle's coming up at some point here. It's not a big shortcut. Look like this bridge. Okay. Oh man, that's a big turn. Felt good though. Did they even have any Need for Speed games on N64? I don't think they did, right? Nope, interesting. See, EA was only doing those on PC and PlayStation and 3DO, of course. Where's the castle? Is that a different level? Did I already do that? Going crazy. Yes, I just can't make that shortcut, man. I'm doing too fast anymore. Does everyone else have a favorite N64 racing game? Ones I had were like, you know, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing. I had Cruisin' USA, which at launch was huge. Then, San Francisco Rush. Those ones I had. And F-Zero X, of course. And Episode 1 Racer was more of a Dreamcast thing for me. There is South Park Rally. Oh, Wave Race, yeah. Like Wave Race and Excite Bike. I mean, it's wild. This, like... Sometimes it feels like this console is almost 50% racing games, you know? It's a lot of them. I'm not sure if I can, like, think of another console that is so heavily associated with one genre. Maybe Saturn and fighting games. PlayStation 1 and RPGs. Even PS1 just had a lot of genres that... Oh, boy. Okay, we're fine. Was Cruisin' World or Cruisin' Exotica the second one? I feel like Exotica might have been the third one. When Grubb said that this is the best racing game on the system, in his mind, I don't think he considers Wave Race 64 a racing game. He thinks of it more as like a sports thing. Right? Which, like, I kind of get. I know, it's like SSX tricky. I don't know. It's a racing game, of course. I don't immediately think of it as a racing game. I think it was an extreme sports game. Exotica was third. No, that's what I thought. But shit. Okay, it's fine. It's not fine. Here's the worst part is that you don't, like, crash right away. Okay. Well, see if we can make that up. You don't understand this distinction? I mean, there's this race. Look, I get it. They definitely are racing games, but they are also kind of sports, like extreme sports games, right? They have tricks and things. They're very physics-based as opposed to, like, some of the other stuff you think about in racing games. No, look, I would also, if I was, like, saying what's the best racing game, I would count them for sure, but I'm just saying it's probably why Grub wasn't thinking of them. Because Grub definitely likes Wave Race 64 even more than this game. It's like one of his favorite games. Yeah, shortcut I'm good at. All these other ones, not so much. I never played Body Harvest or Space Station Silicon Valley or whatever. Both on my to-do list. Baba is me 64. Thank you for 15 months. Appreciate it. Yeah, get your MS Cool Kids benefits. That's right. You do get those by being a member here. What would you all be more excited to watch me play next? Code Veronica on my Dreamcast or Elden Ring just on Steam? Ugh. Maybe run a poll. Seems to be pretty largely Code Veronica. That's so hot in here all of a sudden. Why am I so hot? I gotta put the air on after this race. Well, fuck. Alright. I played Elden Ring. I kinda wanna do it without summoning this time as the big gimmick. I don't wanna do a dex build. I didn't stream base Elden Ring, but I did stream Shadow of the Earth Tree. Fuck me. Oh my god, I'm gonna be second place now because of that. That's alright. We still have enough points. I think it doesn't matter, but that sucks. Be like that sometimes. That sucks. I did get that VMU Pro. It should be in next week. I'm gonna lower my air. Ugh, I blew that race. There is a difference of time. Alright. I'm sure we're still winning the circuit. Yeah. Don't need to save.
You're still in the game.
Alright.
Welcome to Sunset Sand.
This is new.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, I mean, Elden Ring will take a decent amount of time. I don't think a second playthrough is gonna take me that long. I have some game knowledge, and I'm not like, you know, I'm gonna kind of go to the bosses. I'm not gonna worry a ton about every little nook and cranny. You always have to have a desert level in these games, huh? The jumps do feel cool. This is good music here. I gotta go in that hole. Wait, I can't. Never mind. I mean, I could also just play out a ring on my own again when it comes to Switch too, but I don't know. There's part of me that would like to play it on stream. Whoa, this looks cool. Fine, it's fine, it's fine. Whoa, what am I even looking at? Oh boy. Okay. Ray tracing, something like that. You think you could trace a single ray on an N64? Just one ray. No, still too many rays. Alright, there's gotta be a shortcut through these windy parts. We'd have to turn up the fog. I'm struggling to aim my distance here. Oop, we're going right. Oh, okay, it's fine. Ah, shit. Okay, man. Yeah, there's like a level that was foggy as an aesthetic choice, but otherwise it's been pretty good. I've seen something. We're going for it. Did not help. I'm further behind. I'm in last place now. So the first lap.
Lap 2.
Finally gaining some ground here. Yeah, in these straight, less narrow paths, I gain a lot of speed. How am I supposed to get up there? That guy spun out like crazy. Did you see that? It's funny how quickly you get used to the frame rate on N64 games, man. I think I'm such a snob about that stuff. I get over it pretty quick, it turns out, a lot of the time. Oh, what is that? I'll look at it in a second. Hey, the Masters, thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I saw something over there. Okay. Yes, follow these signs. They're trying to be helpful. Playing Beetle Adventure Racing on a Shoot N64. Shoot means real. Right? Okay, let's do it. Yep, fine. It's good. What's this? God damn, I keep missing the nitros. Whoa. Okay, no, okay. That was good. That was good. Good, 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 good. I don't want to go that way again. This is another cool track. Bunny hopping. It's fine. You know, we haven't had any red threads complaining about us using the word shooter in a while, so that's progress.
It's the final lap.
There was that one person was mad at me for saying blank likes too much for things that Souls like or us the less like. But that's okay. That person will learn to love again. It's a good turn. Okay, I think I see something over there, but I'm not going to try it. This is a cool looking area. Let's see, just turn a little wide. I'd love to get that nitrous, but I'm afraid. I am a coward. Okay, if I can actually hit some of these nitruses this time. Oh boy. Oh my god, Mike. Better hit this one. There's one more. There we go. Now the end of the track's gonna change. Hey, Storm. Ooh. It's fine. I didn't watch that Persona 4 presentation, by the way. Did anything come of that? I swear they've almost been talking about that game more like it's a game that is coming out this year, right? It's like, it's almost a little weird we're waiting as long for that game as we are. It's not that it's that long or anything, but... Hey, there we go. It's Persona 4. Alright then.
Congratulations.
We did it! Another cup one. They added a block.
Well done. You suited advance.
Yay!
No challenge throw.
I did hear that, Jedi. I think that's fun.
One player.
We go to the bathroom, then we're going to do this final difficulty. See how it goes. Late next year for 6? Maybe. I mean, would they release 4 and 6? I wouldn't be shocked if it was 2028 for 6. We'll see. It has a Steam page already. That's wild. Persona 6 has been getting rated. How could it be rated? It would have to be, like, kind of done to be rated, wouldn't it?
Championship.
Professional.
Pro circuit.
Alright. So, Flower Power here seems to have the kind of stat allocation I like, so I guess we're going Flower Power. So that Grace fetching. What else we have? Go Gray this time. The yellow game. I've been a little... It's an interesting case, Elliot, where the game's getting good reviews. Not amazing reviews, and the things the reviews complain about are the things I was worried about, with like the story and characters being kind of mid.
Welcome to Coventry Cove.
What's required when a game has a Steam store page. Interesting. It's the Shoot hardware, Jeff. I picked up a copy of this game today. It just started the hardest difficulty. We're cruising along here. Shows why you like this game. It says odd air balloons. Okay. Not my best start. Oh, this is definitely a faster car. Oh. Oh, yeah. This is much faster. Okay, it's fine. Fine. No struggle up. This game's good on emulator. Oh, this game is weird on emulator. Well, I'm glad I got a Shoot copy then. Picked up for 20 bucks. It had like a sticker on it, so it's not the cleanest copy, but 20 bucks, I'm playing the game. Okay, I need to catch up here. There we go. Boy, I don't know if that accomplished anything. Let's not do that again. This time, though, this will work. Am I going too fast for these shortcuts now? Oh, boy. Let's start this circuit over. Look, I don't know where all the shortcuts are.
Single race.
Or single race.
Championship.
That was going so well.
Pro circuit.
That was harder.
Nice wheels.
I can hit left bumper to reset my position. Thank you. I was wondering about that.
Welcome to Coventry Cove.
I was having some issues with that.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, I mean, there have been races where I've, like, got super stuck, and early on I was able to, like, get back in it pretty quickly. It's, you know, it's one of those 64 games. There's rubber banding, sure, but there's rubber banding both ways. And when a race takes 10 minutes long, you can understand where there's some rubber banding. Grub, everyone was concerned that you said this was your favorite racing game on 64 and not Wave Race 64. And I told them, I just think Grub thinks that game is a different genre than Racing First. And that you still like Wave Race 64 more. Am I correct? Can't get used to this new car, man. Yeah, that's right. All right. That's how it's above racing. Too good to be a racing game. Shit. God, I keep missing the nitros. Here's one. Ah! I don't trust that barn. Bad things have happened to me in that barn. Oh boy. I didn't make it inside the tunnel. Forgot. They'll be mad at me. Everybody's so fast. What's that up there? I just noticed there's a tunnel up there. That was the first time I saw that one. It was hidden behind some shrubs. Oh man. Still only a fifth. Oh, this is the good shortcut. If I don't fuck it up, which I did. Oh boy, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Go. Oh my god, it's hard to do when you're going this fast, huh?
Lap 2.
Oh, how'd I miss that? Let's do it. It's fine. It's gonna work this time. We're going fast. I don't know if that did anything. There we go. That's something. Oh man, I'm in last place. It was worse. The shortcut didn't help. Going too fast and I'm bumping into too much shit. Fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Shit. Okay, try being better. No. That's all I got. Okay, the shortcut is coming up here. After this, I'm gonna have to hang to the right here a little bit. Right after this boulder. Oh, I missed it. Never mind. I even was prepared for it. It's alright. There's just gonna be this one coming up with the hill. Ah! Oh, thank you. Oh, man, that guy gave me a good tap. Fuck. There's a shortcut to the left? Oh my gosh. No, this one, okay. Let's just do this one correctly. Or never mind, that shortcut was for losers, I decided, actually. Quite a difficulty spike all of a sudden here. Let's restart. Let's see if there's any shortcuts over there. All right, this time for sure, maybe. I wish I could just push that restart button. We're learning.
One player. Championship.
Brick wall was not a shortcut, it turns out. That was a brick wall.
Nice wheels. Welcome to Coventry Cove. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Jeff, is there a time when you push gas on this game? I've just been doing it at go. Right at go, okay. I don't trust that tunnel. God damn it, finally got some speed going. Get the guy's caboose. I feel like I should have saved some of those. Oh. Okay. 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 Now I see. I see now. That's good to know. You press the L button right at go, you can cheese a jump start. Interesting. That's funny. That was fun. Might try that.
All right.
we go. There we go. It's feeling better. Ooh, that's alright. Let me do that.
Lap 2.
We are still behind quite a ways, so we're working on it. Shit. The game's definitely expecting me to be good now. Second, can I turn left there? I don't think so. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Here we go. We're getting some cars past now. Look at us go. Look at us go. Oh, baby. Okay, that's right. Stay. Hell yeah. Alright. Alright, there we go. It's a little scary, but we're good. Okay. And another shortcut's coming up here. Yeah, how did I lose so much speed in there? Okay. Great shot, Walrus. Okay, I always gain a ton of speed here.
It's the final lap.
I don't bump the friggin' thing. We are going fast. Whoa, it's fine. Oof. Nice, hit it. Okay. I'm gonna play a little safe now. We'll see. Let's screw it. I should have played it safe. Fine. Fuck. Do you think I know about the L button? Come here, you son of a bitch. Oh, I didn't go up the tunnel. Why are they going so much faster than me all of a sudden? Come on. That's it. At least give me second. We can work with second. Oh, I missed the fucking nitro. I think I should retry. Let off the gas on the jumps. Interesting. Okay. Let's do better than that. That's pretty. We're getting there.
One player.
Gotta try this cheese start.
Championship.
Oops, no, not advanced.
Pro circuit. Nice wheels. Welcome to Coventry Cove.
Getting there.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
Interesting. Do y'all respect me less now? I mean, it didn't give me as much of an advantage as I might have hoped, but it was something. Well, Christian, you couldn't possibly respect me less, so... yeah. That's not possible. Do you go in that tunnel, Jeff? I just feel like bad things happen to me in that tunnel. Maybe I'm a coward. Shit. Shit. There we go. Shit. Yeah, what happened there? It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. A little hard because you kind of can't see until the last second there. It's alright, it's alright. It's fine. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's not, it could be better. Fine. Get the fuck away from me. Damn it. Ow. I'm actually in third place. It's why you have to push L when you're losing. You know, also funny. I book about the alphabet, like at the start of each chapter for each letter, it like references something with that letter, like, oh, you know, B to be or not to be, Shakespeare, right? You know what it did for F? Can anyone guess? Oh, it made a fun sound there. Okay, anyone want to guess what it did for F? What media did it quote for the letter F? Pay respects. It didn't. Press F to pay respect. From Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And I laughed and laughed and laughed. No, it's a good book. There we go. That's how it's supposed to look. What happened here? Car! It's fine. No, that worked well. That book is not AI. There was I went to my niece's dance recital. A surprising amount of AI in that. You wouldn't think it's possible. With all these like projected images and things. One of the songs maybe even. I don't know. It's depressing. Well, oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're just swagging on it a little bit. Shit. Ow. Fuck. Oh my god, I missed it.
It's the final lap.
Okay. Starting in third is not terrible here. We just gotta hit our shortcuts. Whoa. Oh. Ah! What was that? Fine, it's fine. Oh my god. Ah, I'm not. Both times there. I'm going in the tunnel. God damn it. Tunnel did not help. Okay. I missed that nitro. Okay, we gotta really hit these shortcuts. Okay. Good start. Not great right there. That's fine. 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 Could have been better. Come on. Wait, again, how did I lose a position there? This is gonna be worse than the last time, isn't it? Yeah.
One player.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, some shortcuts I'm noticing aren't actually helpful.
Championship.
Maybe that one up there is not great. What's this blue sky thing? I can't really see things really well right now.
Pro circuit.
I need bonus points for it continues.
Right wheel. Welcome to Coventry Cove.
I mean, the big shortcuts here seem to be the one through the castle and that one through the lake. Oh, right, I forgot my shortcuts, right. Yeah, you want the bonus points, which I don't know how much I care about them. There's one through the near... Okay, I thought there was one here. Is it this? Ah, okay. I thought there was something here. Look at that. So that's useful. Oh my... Okay, well, when I don't do that. But yes, that's good. Next time I'll hit it better. Oof. Okay. I gain some speed. Ooh, fuck me. Fine. Here, we'll even go in the barn this time. Why not? That fiber. Okay. Good. Good. Hey, don't you beat me. I feel like this shortcut here is worth it the first time if you hit that boost, otherwise you're kind of done with it. And you get the points. That was 10. That's huge. Keep overdoing that one. It's fine. Okay, get it next time. I'm still doing okay. How many do I need for the continue? Because I got a lot, not all of them. $50. Some more of these this time. Okay. There we go. That's what that's supposed to look like. It's fine. It's good. I missed the bonus box. Yep, there it is. And that. It's okay. Here's one. Oh, what? It's fine. Come on. It's good. It's good. It's good. Yeah, we're in first place. Wow. Don't go up there. Like, this guy always kind of catches up to me a little bit on the straightaway here. Shit. Alright, we don't need that shortcut. Screw it. 50. Now we just focus on winning. No. No. It's always a little scary there. Oh, that's cute. Oh, he crashed? Beatles versus Capcom. Okay, save that for this. I wonder if it's worth saving some of the nitrous just for the last lap. I see that being the case. Oh, I forgot about the shortcut. We don't need it this time. It's a little risky. Okay. I see left C is look behind you. Just wondering about that. I'm too scared to push it right now. Here, real quick. There we go. No one behind me. He's catching up, though. Take that. There we go. I do the turns a lot faster than them. Good. Come on. Ooh, that's fine, it's fine. Hey, first place. First try, too. That's the most impressive part. New record, baby. Yeah, fuck Scott. I didn't get it continue. Took me to just now to realize that their names are just the colors of their cars. Charcoal is not Grubb's favorite color. It's very specifically gray, not any of the cool variants of it. Might be more points, that's fine. I'm not too worried about it. We'll just do it all right the first time. Okay, now the
Welcome to
boggy one.
Mayhem. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
The drifting feels really good. So, see, I read Lord of the Rings so much that even I think gray is spelled with an E. Can't remember what the shortcuts are for this one. Almost forgot about that. In the US, anyways, it's spelled with an A. Oh, this is where I gain. This is how I win. Is that the bad at this part? I'll go. Maybe so am I. Oh, there's that ice wall there, right? There's a cave up there. Oh, there is that thing where I could go up. I'm pretty afraid of it. I think we'll try it once, though. It's got really even. I gotta get kind of straight again. Yeah, that's not gonna... It's not gonna work. I tried. I still kept my space pretty good, though. Might be worth trying again. Ooh. That one always scares me. I feel like I'm always gonna do better on these the harder tracks, because I'm pretty decent at the drifting, I think. This shortcut here is always good. Shit. Alright. Hit the left side of the grassy jump. Oh, you. That was a different shortcut. Oh, okay. I braked too much for that one, yeah. Something over there on the left. Whoa. Okay, stay to the right. Here we go. Don't hit any icicles. Good. Good. Killed it. What? Guess I didn't go fast enough into it? Alright. Hit the wrong part of it? Shit. It's fine. That's fine. Oh boy. Jump off the broken part. Jump off it. Oh, I want to hit that part. Okay. This sounds to go at this from the right. There we go. I am. Go! Barely!
Right.
Huge. That was fun. Oh, which way? Where am I? Oh, I missed that. Oh my god. This is the shortcut. Jump off it northwest. Okay, we're back. And for a while there, it said it was in first place. I must have lost something there. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done this again, huh? Get back to a normal one. That was different, actually.
It's the final lap.
Oh, boy. I am scared about trying this shortcut, but I told you. So 11 o'clock, right? 11 o'clock. Damn it. Oh, that's... Yeah, I was way off. I see. I kind of see it now. But yeah, that's way more to the left than I was even expecting. That jump's worth going for again, probably. Well, maybe not, if I have the lead, I might be playing a little safe. Oh, never mind, about to win. Oh, perfect. Alright, just barely made it. Nice. That's two. 2 first places in a row. We can afford maybe a second place or two. I wish Charcoal wasn't always getting second place. Jurassic Park next.
Welcome to Inferno Isle. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, go!
I also forgot about my trick. My special trick. Here it seems like you just kind of cut through the water. Just as good as spinning. I know you can kind of cut through the town section, but it's pretty hard when we're going this fast now. Like the electricity. Man, we're already kind of zooming up here. Again, like, I'm just, well, this is, well, I don't know if this is worth it anymore, but I guess we're committed. Ah! Yeah. Well, kind of evened out, I think, almost. Let's not do that again. Here comes the easy, good shortcut. Oh boy, oh boy. I spoke way too soon, apparently. Ow. What happened? Not sure what happened there, but we're okay. Taking out. Boy. It'd be great if this guy could just fall in the lava. Ooh. Shit. There's like definitely a path here I've never seen. Like, how do you get up there? I don't know. I know I can go left there, but it scares me. Buddy. I could go left there, huh? I wonder what that does. Pickle giraffe here at Pickle. Ugh. We're alright. Doing okay. Okay. That's first place. The bridges screwed me over sometimes. Boy, that was a great turn. Yeah, these parts I can handle. Oh, for the most part. You go through those plants into a building, okay. Not sure which plants. There's lots of plants. Okay, the dinosaur kind of hangs out on the left here. I don't want it to hurt me. Go further ahead. Here he comes. There you are. Okay, we are not trying to get fancy here. Oh, what's that up there? I didn't see that before. I don't know. That looks like it was mostly for points. Okay, nice. We did that well. This little guy behind my butt. Alright, this time this is going to be perfect. There we go. That shortcut helps quite a bit if you nail it. It's fine. Pretty good. Oh, no, never mind. It's blocked this time. Shit. Was it always blocked? Am I crazy? Fine. Oh, there. It was that one. It was over there. Okay. Again, I don't know if it's worth doing. I'm in first. Oh. I was like, I see the shortcut. No, I didn't. Those plants. I thought so, but I kind of just smashed into them. Because I did something wrong. Oh shit. It's fine. Ugh. Okay, we'll catch up. Kind of like a little bump there. I could probably cut through this thing. Okay. Keep it up. It's fine. Okay, come in from the right this time. Yep, there he is. Fine. Gotta be fast on that L button. This will give me some distance that I need. Good. Good. Perfecto. It's fine. Volcano part's always a bit tense. What's interesting is that when Thad played this game, I don't think he loved it. I can't remember why. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Oh, boy. Hey, McCasey Jones, look at that. All right, first try on that one. There we go. You did it relatively early on in the challenge. Only 19 points, that's okay. All right, should be 2 more tracks. We're getting a point where like a second place won't kill us. 2-point Museum has a free weekend on Steam. You think it's good? Good. People should check that out. It's a good video game, darn it. How many tracks are in this? I think 5. I think 5. Which, that might sound short. That's relatively standard for N64 games. Might be 6. Might unlock one after I do this, you know.
You're still in the game.
There's another difficulty? I unlock a 4th difficulty after this. Whoa. There's 6 tracks. That's scary. I guess I've never seen one say hard yet. Hey, John Ton, thank you so much for following. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Can I just go up here? Nope. No, you cannot. This I gotta be able to do. There we go. But to what end? Not much of one. Was the insane oh yeah, that guy rambling about... I don't know what he was rambling about. Actually, I think it was still somebody who was mad about Crazy Taxi, and then mad that, like, we dared disparage PlayStation, even though PlayStation literally, like, today or yesterday was, like, talking about how great AI is, and how it's gonna, like, really make things super awesome over there, and how they're super stoked about it. So that's funny. Shit. Bad. I feel like there should be a shortcut in here, but I'll be damned if I ever saw it. Oh boy. Yeah, look at that. What's over there? Oh my god. Oh boy, okay. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Ugh. That actually helped quite a bit. Oh, except for smashing into the wall there. That was pretty helpful. Do that one again. There's something up there. Ooh. And up there. Fine. Oh boy. What if I should have gone left there? Oh my god. I'm eating shit all of a sudden. We're doing alright. Difficulty spike here. Lap 2, hopefully that's better than lap 1 did. Could have just turned left right there, I think. He wants me to go left. Let's go right. Yeah, it seems like something. Fuck me. This worked last time. God, I just gotta stop bouncing around like a jackass. I'm so bad. Okay. Still bad? Oh my god. Thought that was a shortcut for some reason. Ah, crap, I want to go up there. Oh my god. No, that's nothing, huh? Jeez. Well, I thought that one was a shortcut, alright? There, we're in 7th now, it's fine. Oh boy. Something there. Maybe. There, we're finally getting some stuff happening here. Where'd you come from? How'd you pass me up? Oh my god. Come on. That was something. Yeah, whatever. I'll take 4th, honestly. Heck, 3rd be great. Oh, come on, I took that turn perfectly. Get out of here. Alright, whatever. Good enough. Then Meowmers, thank you so much for 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Really, really, really appreciate that. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, Lieutenant. Salute you. We're still in 1st place. But now we have to get 1st place on this track I've never played before.
You're still in the game.
See how that goes. Metro Madness. Hard. What that says.
Get ready.
Oh boy.
3, 2, 1, go!
Plus Charcoal doesn't get 1st, but it never works out that way. Alright, now we're ridge racing. It's fine. Somehow it's fine. Oh, these are some tight turns now, huh? Okay. Okay, stop grinding the side there, Mike. Could have done that better. There's nitrous over there, but I'm afraid to lane shift. Oh. Okay. Guess that was a suggestion earlier. Fine. Left. Okay. We actually got some spots there. That was a lucky accidental shortcut. Jeez. Oh, this is a grid track. This is fun. Okay, I maybe could have gone there, but I was a coward. Yeah, these like right angle turns, man. Cool. Yeah, eat the wall. Okay. Yeah, that's probably... Yeah, let's not go that way. Bam, we better be hitting a lap soon. Jeez.
Lap 2.
Yep. Oh, there's a little gap there, huh? Come on, there we go. Thank you, the Better David, for following. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No! Fine. Damn it. Tried. Oh, that's where my shortcut was. I should have done it again. Oh, there's stairs over there. What's nice is that... That's not gray, that's purple. Oh, man, that was difficult. Come on, get off this side. Fine. Me? That's good. I don't know why I thought I would go through that. It's probably for the final lap. Yeah, eat shit. Okay. Okay, we're doing good, we're doing good. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know about this. Actually, that was pretty good. That was pretty good, actually. Yeah, where are all you naysayers now? Where are all your jokes about how I suck now? This one's been going pretty good, huh? Huh? This is on a shoot N64, a real N64. All right, I see this time. Well, I didn't kill it, but... Right idea. Gotta thread that needle a bit more next time. Damn it. Yeah, get out of my way. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Remember to go straight at that one part. That's fine. Yeah, not making that. That's right here. Go straight. Ha! That's fun. Wish I hit that, but that's okay. Damn it. Oh, come on, I pushed out. I think he crashed too, actually. So there's that. Doing alright. He always loses a little bit of speed here for some reason. Okay, don't get hit by that wall this time. Nice. Okay. Mike. Why? Why, Mike? Fine. Guys, I wasn't getting through. Look at that. Easy. Ooh, now this is pod racing. Had to win that. Not many bonus points, that's okay. See, Charcoal was in third, actually, so I would have been alright. Yeah. Look at that.
Congratulations!
Buckle up and hit the bonus circuit, baby.
Mr. Big, that's me. That was a fun track. I like that. Oh, I rolled credits. Holy shit. I can say I beat this video game? Hell yeah. Look at me. Do you want me to write a review of this game, Orchid Manus? We will do that. Gonna be a lot shorter than Grubs. Did I thank Time for Santa for 2 months? I don't know if I did. Thank you, Time for Santa. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we'll see if this makes it into the rankings. I believe right now number 20 on my top 20 and 64 list is Shadows of the Empire. We'll see. There's an extra hard mode. I want to try that for a moment. Let's see how it goes. If we can, like, first place everything for sure, we'll go through it, but I don't want to struggle against it too long. Try them. Yeah, let's try the new cars real quick. I like Indiana Jones: The Great Circle a ton. Yeah, I like it a lot. Here's like a Halloween land track. That's fun. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, except for Jeff Grubb. Don't want to go into his head. It'd be funny if the new cars aren't Beetles. They're on that. Santa Fe? That sounds like Mortal Kombat. I know some people who at one point in their lives were QA testers for EA, but I think it was more PS3 era, less this. PS3 and PS4 era. Is Banjo-Tooie... If you like Banjo-Kazooie a lot, I think you should try Banjo-Tooie. I don't know anybody who thinks Banjo-Tooie is better than Banjo-Kazooie. I bet it's still good. A lot of people like it more than Donkey Kong 64, and I still thought Donkey Kong 64 was kind of fun, so... Right, like, Tooie has that issue that DK64 also has of just being too big. Banjo-Tooie is not what you think. I mean, I think I have a decent idea of what it is. Look at this Beetle go. Shit, I kind of want to get a Beetle now. Banjo-Tooie.
One player. Championship.
Bonus.
Bonus circuit.
Whoa. Cool. Is everyone else gonna be in this car?
Nice wheels.
Oh, hell yeah.
Welcome to Coventry Cove.
Yeah, the Beetle's gonna have another comeback someday.
3, 2,
I have the South Park N64 game. I kind of want to play through it at some point. I have like my childhood copy of it. Like I'm phasing through this guy until I pass him. Oh, never mind. Whoa, this thing seems fast. Ah! But everyone else fast. This is Grub's dream car. This is better than the last unlockable car. Oh, but I guess you get something for beating this circuit. I'm not even worried about the bonuses, to be honest. Whoop. Oh shit. Yeah. Ah. What am I doing? I'm a piece of shit. Nope, missed it. God damn it. As you go so fast, it's hard to hit these things.
lap 2.
Sorry about this one. Oh shit. I'm in 7th? 7th. That's not right. Take that for the last lap. Oh, forgot about the ramp this time. That's alright. He's gaining a lot of ground all of a sudden. Gotta hit this clean. Never mind.
It's the final lap.
Oh boy. Yeah. I think my top speed is so good on these straightaways. I do pretty good until I blow it. Okay. Oh boy. Mikey. Motor psyche. That first place is really out there. Oh, what's going on there? Why are you going that fast? It's usually hard to catch up at this point. Back Lucy with the OP card. Their cars are OP too, damn it. Alright. Well, we'll probably stop here then. Someday, maybe. I said bonus. It's optional. They are zooming. Alright. We'll write that review. Get ready. You see how blue my screen is right now? Because I turned off the game. Mike's blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-die. Baby, you can drive my car. Sorry, I was actually looking at my top 20 and 64 games list right here. You can see part of my camera is just blue now. What part? Let's see. Well, you're right. What was that? Just turn the shutter on and off. Well, I assume that'll go away next time. We're all going to learn to live with that for a moment. All right. So here's my current top 20. Interesting. No goat. And the goat, and I didn't quite make it. Didn't quite make it. There it is. 99. Didn't realize it was a relatively later N64 game. It is beaten. Yeah, it's great. 4 stars. Punch buggy. I associate the Nintendo 64 heavily with racing games. Although most of my favorites on the console don't really feature cars. Sure, I like the Cruisin' and Rush games, fine, but I'll take the likes of Episode 1 Racer, Wave Race 64, and the kart games over them any day. So, after playing Beetle Adventure Racing for the first time, I can confidently say that this is the best racing game for the N64 that involves actual cars. Or car, right? Rather. It's all Volkswagen Beetles. And that's good. That's a fun car. It's a fun car. Heck, this whole game is fun. The tracks have good variety. Tracks have a good variety of locales and themes. The Jurassic Park-esque one stands out the most. But it's really the layout of the courses that shine, as the game gives you many shortcuts to explore, to find, explore, and experiment with. Above all else, the racing just feels good. Controls are tight. Drifting is easy to get a handle. And you can easily reset yourself if you crash or make a mistake. Yes, it has rubber banding. But you kind of have to expect that in a racing game of this era. Sometimes the rubber banding can work in your favor anyway. I've always heard this called a hidden gem for the console. I can verify that Beetle Adventure Racing does indeed shine. I spelled indeed. What the hell was that? And died? Indeed. Shine. This is like when Doogie Howser would write in his computer journal because he's smart, right? Alright, the good. Beetles are cool cars. Great track designs. Good racing controls. Maybe you can like the bad. Some shortcuts. Aren't very short. Soundtrack is just okay. There. Did not find the UFO. Alright, so let's get to that list. I don't know if this is just me continuing my Mario Kart 64 hater, or Mario Kart hater gimmick, but I think it's better than Mario Kart 64. Better than Mario Tennis, that I don't know. I mean, Mario Kart's not going to get out of there. Look, Mario Kart 64 is still going to be on the list. Shadows of the Empire is going to get knocked off, that's all. That's all. It's going to be like this. I'm not going to put it above Diddy Kong or Bomberman 64. I'm not going to put it any higher than this, but I really liked it. So it makes the list. There you go. Sidney Punishment, which I played not too long ago, really did well on the list. Starbucks 64, that's a good game. I mean, Mario Kart 64 definitely has more content, right? But I just like racing in this game more. And frankly, when I play racing games, I'd rather play by myself than with people. I don't know if that's antisocial, but it's just true. Most of my favorite times playing racing games have been like doing the campaigns in Episode 1 Racer or Ridge Racer Type 4, not necessarily doing 4-player split screen. that because everyone beats me? Wow. Wow. Rude. Rude, rude, rude. Pretty good list, though. Pretty good list. Man, it's later than I realized. I guess I did start pretty late today, huh? I'm not a Majora's Mask hater. I just actually never really played the N64 version. I played it on 3DS. Where's my 3DS list? I was always intimidated by that game in the N64. I think I also, I was not... By 2000, I was just not really playing my N64 very much. There you go. Majora's Mask number 9 on the 3DS. A console, to be clear, I like much more than the N64. There's a lot of Zelda games in the top 10. There you go. All right. I go to bed. Gotta see Toy Story 5 tomorrow. See if that's any good. Happy Father's Day again to all the fathers. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. Pretty late. Is anybody doing any streaming stuff? Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. You like Toy Story 5? Good. I mean, you should probably watch Toy Story 4 before 5. Right, why not? We just raid Zombie Pie? Okay. Don't know who that... Da-da-da. Zombie Pie's been here before, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm so sleepy. All right, what? I don't know. It really hit me like a ton of bricks all of a sudden. All right. Have a good weekend. See you all later. Bye-bye. Yeah, I know Zombie.